This is a production of WKNO Memphis. Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
My guest today on Sports Files is the general manager of the Memphis Redbirds, Ben Weiss. Play ball, two words that bring pleasure to the ears of baseball fans young and old. The 2013 Major League Baseball season opened up earlier this week, while tonight the Memphis Redbirds began play in the Pacific Coast League. The Birds, the AAA affiliate of the St. Louis Cardinals, are part of the fabric of the Bluff City. And while the numbers may indicate a bit of a downward trend in baseball's popularity, America's pastime continues to be one of the most fan-friendly sports we have in this country. Nearly 500,000 fans of the game walked through the AutoZone Park turnstiles in 2012. That's an average of just under 7,000 per game. The Redbirds remain a very affordable ticket for sports fans, and with one of minor league baseball's most attractive stadiums, they continue to be a draw for people from all walks of life. Last season, the Redbirds organization unveiled the largest scoreboard in minor league baseball, adding to the already popular baseball shrine at 3rd and Union. And the man instrumental in helping bring the new Jumbotron to AutoZone Park and adding other popular amenities is General Manager Ben Weiss. Weiss took over the daily business operations of the Redbirds in August of 2009 and hasn't looked back. Today, the Redbirds' young, talented GM joins me to talk about the upcoming season and what fans can expect to see from the team. A squad that will begin the season with some of the most promising young talent in the Cardinals organization, such as outfielder Oscar Taveras and second baseman Colton Wong. We swing for the fences with the Redbirds front office head honcho, Ben Weiss, next on Sports Files. Ben, thank you so much for being with us.
Appreciate it, Greg. Thank you for having me.
Always good to talk baseball. I know the weather may not be cooperating like we want it to be, but anytime you can talk baseball, it's a good thing.
Anytime you can talk baseball, it's a good thing. You're right. The weather seems to be reverting a little bit, back to the cooler temps. But obviously, this weekend, temperatures are supposed to be just perfect.
Perfect for the first fireworks game of the season. So we're looking forward to that. We'll talk about all the promotions and everything that we can expect to see from the Redbirds this upcoming season as we move along. But timing is everything, and yesterday a story was circulating around the Memphis area and maybe even out of St. Louis about the St. Louis Cardinals and that they were on the verge of purchasing the Redbirds and AutoZone Park. Ben, what can you tell us about those rumors and that story that circulated yesterday?
We obviously saw the Twitter chatter and as far as I'm concerned, I still work for the Memphis Redbirds Baseball Foundation. They're still the owner of the ballpark, still the owner of the franchise, and until there's a change directly communicated by them, that's the way it is, and that's the way it stands.
If there is dialogue between the two, and some would say there has been, because I know this has been a rumor for a long time that they would love to see the Cardinals purchase the organization. Are you privy to that information as the general manager?
It's at a different level, Greg. The foundation members they handle the discussions as it results or as it pertains to any potential transaction.
So you move on as if it's day-to-day operations and what happens above you happens.
Our staff, we come in every day. Now we're coming in 7 days a week, working our tails off and making sure that ballpark is clean. Our promotions are great. And everybody has a great time. That's what we're there to do.
What does opening day mean to you?
To me, it's opening day is like Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fortunate. I work in a business where I get 2 Christmas days in 1 year. But it brings back. It's a ton of excitement. All the work, the culmination of the 6 or 7 months of off season. It's just great to see all that to come to fruition, and it's just very, very exciting.
You're a younger guy than me, but I still remember growing up and opening day, and when I went to see the Phillies was the team I grew up with, and you could smell the grass. I'm going back to Connie Mack when there was real grass. Then, of course, we had the AstroTurf at Veterans Stadium. But to me, although the game has changed in some regards, it's still the same as when I was a little kid. Do you feel the same way, opening day and the excitement like you just talked about with Christmas?
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, I grew up playing baseball, you know, and getting on that field and smelling the grass and being around the smell of the leather, the smell of the baseball, you know, those smells and those scents that only happen, you know, inside that ballpark.
Right.
It's special, and it brings me back to my childhood as well.
It's ingrained in you. That's why you don't forget the smell.
No, it's in you. It's in you. Yeah, for sure.
What is a typical day for Ben Weiss with the Redbirds?
Well, the best part about my job is there is no typical day. You know, every day is absolutely very, very different. You know, especially now that we're in season. Everything from, you know, promoting the ball club to working with our corporate sponsors to selling season tickets. In fact, just the other day I was pulling tarp with the crew. So I'm down on the field, and I'm there for the early tarp calls and for the late tarp calls. So, you know, we do it all. Minor league baseball, we're kind of all hands on deck and jack of all trades.
There are so many things you do from a business standpoint, which we'll get into. But from a player personnel standpoint, obviously it's dependent upon what happens with the big league team shaping your roster.
Sure.
But are you asked by people within the Cardinals organization for your input on certain players?
No. We, you know, at our level, you know, especially within the Cardinals organization, the Cardinals, we've just got a fantastic farm system, a tremendous farm director in John Vooch, who's quite a bit more qualified than I am to make those decisions. And of course, John Mozeliak. Those guys are making the player personnel decisions. They advise us when a player's going up or coming down, and then at that point we take over and make sure that that player is taken care of and is comfortable and enjoys his time in Memphis.
I think most people would agree that it's really nice to have a team that's competing.
Oh, yeah.
But even if a team is not competing, it's an event to go to a ballpark, and it's an event to go to AutoZone Park because it is such a tremendous ballpark. And you always look at ways to better it. And last year, bringing in this Jumbotron was a tremendous coup, Ben, by you and the staff. Talk about that. Talk about continually trying to improve the product.
And that you hit the nail on the head there. Continually trying to raise the bar, improve the product, improve the fan experience. You know, that's our mission. That's our day-to-day mission, is to continue to make the experience just that much better. And like you said, that video board and you know, 60 by 60, biggest video board in minor league baseball, bigger than a handful of the big league park video boards. We're very proud of that. That just enhances our fan experience. To see little kids come into our ballpark and their eyes light up, and then they see that video board, and then they see Rocky. You know, we get to do that 72 home games a year, and it's pretty special.
You have the bluff over left field. You have the boardwalk where the kids will go and play games because their interest kind of wanes.
Absolutely.
After a couple of innings. You have this beautiful Jumbotron. What else can you do? What have you added for this year? I know promotions, you're always looking to better yourself?
Always looking to add promotions. You know, we listen to our fans. That's first and foremost. You know, we love our fans, and you know, that's who we need to listen to. So we're constantly doing focus groups. We're listening to what our fans have to say, getting their feedback, adding promotions. They loved our promotion calendar last year, so we're taking that to another level, having 17, 18 giveaways each and every Friday night, coupled with our Friday night block parties, band and beer specials pregame on Friday nights, and of course our Saturday night fireworks. In my opinion, the best fireworks display in all of minor league baseball. All 160 teams, nobody beats the Memphis Fireworks Show, and you know, we're proud to put that on.
In the years you've been here in Memphis, do you feel that the popularity of the sport and of the product is growing, is stable, has decreased?
Well, our numbers prove it. I think, you know, there's incremental growth. It's slow and steady. I think people appreciate the product, and you know, we're certainly an entertainment option in Memphis, and I think that's the way a lot of families view us. You know, who are we competing with? Yeah, we're competing with that Friday night movie, that Saturday night movie. You know, some of the other attractions in Memphis. That's who we're going up against. You know, when the family is deciding, you know, where to spend their dollar. So, stay in front of mind, constantly raising the bar, adding value. You know, when a fan comes into the ballpark, they know they're going to get a neat giveaway. They know they're going to get a tremendous fireworks show. They know They're going to get their picture with Rocky the Redbird. All those little things, you know, they really add up, and I think that's why we've seen, you know, steady growth, you know, in the last 2 or 3 years.
You're looking to appease the families, but I would imagine you're also looking to go out there and get groups, whether it be civic groups, church groups, things like that.
Yeah, youth baseball. I mean, you know, a piece of business that has really grown for us is allowing youth baseball teams to play on our field,
right,
pre or post game. Redbirds game, so that's a neat opportunity to see those young kids, boys and girls, touch the grass at AutoZone Park and actually be able to play a game. Is something they're going to be talking about the rest of their life, and that's what we're doing, is we're creating lifelong baseball fans, lifelong Redbird fans.
Let's go back to one of the statements I made earlier about having a competitive team. It just adds to it. You start off with some of the best prospects in the Cardinals organization, in Oscar Taveras, in Colton Wong, Michael Wacha. Let me make sure everybody realizes, get out there and see them now, because we don't know how long they'll be there. But to have this type of talent, Chambers is back with the Redbirds, and you have other talent that returns, it's nice.
This squad, and Pop Warner has said it over the last couple of days, our manager, this squad is going to go out every night, and they're going to compete, and they're going to put on a heck of a show. You're going to see some great baseball down there at 3rd and Union, and you know, this is the Cardinals' future right here, and this is something you're not going to want to miss.
Yeah, if you look at the parent club, just not all of them, but just about everybody went through Memphis.
A good majority of them, you know, have played at AutoZone Park. So it's, you know, the future is now. You know, this is the time to come see those future Cardinals.
Evaluate the job Pop's doing.
Tremendous. Pop's a tremendous competitor. I know he was not happy with the win-loss record last year, but you know, he gets those guys ready to compete every single night, and he's just a tremendous guy. He's a guy that you root for, and you know, we love Pop.
Something that is not good for the Cardinals but benefits the Redbirds and even Springfield is when a player gets hurt, injured, and he's rehabilitating. You have David Freese up with the team now, a World Series hero. It's always an added bonus when fans can come over, watch your team, and then, oh, David Freese is there as well.
Opening weekend, David Freese, we're pretty happy about that. So we'll see.
What is the goal from you and your staff for the future with this organization? What kind of goals do you make for yourselves?
Each year, you know, like I said, we try to raise the level of customer service, fan experience, and continue to grow that fan base. Continue to sell, you know, additional season tickets. Continue to reach out to that corporate community and grow our corporate support. And you know, we've been successful at that the last few years. So the goal is to just keep growing that business, keep growing Redbirds fans. That's the goal.
Do you ever go on the road or have members of your staff go on the road and see what's happening at other minor league parks?
I do. I'm lucky enough to get out there on the road and occasionally go out with our team. But you know, I go to the other parks for our All-Star game, our national championship games. If we make the playoffs, I'll be on the road with the team for a potential playoff run. And that's when you can really, you know, you're kind of doing your homework out there. You're seeing what new promotions are out there. You're seeing what new ballpark attractions are out there, and you know, seeing if we can't take a few ideas and bring them back here to Memphis.
I would imagine some minor league teams out there, some organizations try to emulate what you guys are doing, knowing that you have this amazing stadium that if they certainly can afford it financially, that they're going to want to model it after it.
Yeah, you know, we meet as a minor league baseball community once or twice a year, and you know, the best part about the minor league baseball community is we are open books. We share data, we share what's working, we share what's not working in each different market, and certainly a lot of questions get asked. What are you guys doing in Memphis? What's working in Memphis? And you know, that's a good thing, is that people are keeping their eye on what we're doing here.
Ben, how about a AAA All-Star game?
We would love to host it. We would love to host it.
How does that go about? How do you try to?
It alternates from International League to Pacific Coast League each year. And usually there's a bid process, so you need to you know, kind of campaign and get the word out there that you'd be interested in that. And then the two leagues, the two AAA leagues, make the decision. So you know, that's a possibility down the road. I know they're booked for the next 2 seasons, so we'll see.
civic responsibilities for the Redbirds organization. I know it's very important to do things in the community, go back to the strike programs and RBI. You know, these are important.
Yeah, still active, and you know, we're proud to say that we still touch in our RBI program, you know, almost 1,000 at-risk youth every summer with our RBI program. You know, not only teaching baseball skills, softball skills, but life skills. We provide the kids a meal every time they come out to practice, and then of course it culminates with a trip down to AutoZone Park and watching the Redbirds play. So it's a great program. We're very, very proud of it, and always looking for additional corporate and community support on that. So you know, if you're interested, please certainly help us.
Throw out a number that they can call.
Definitely go on the website or 721-6000. Call that number, and you know, we're always looking for additional hands.
Now, would that be the number also if people are interested in purchasing tickets?
Absolutely,
tickets?
Absolutely.
And the website, I would imagine, is going strong?
Yep, MemphisRedbirds.com. In fact, a brand new look this year. A lot of information on there. You know, one thing we heard from our fans is they wanted more player content information. We were happy to provide that, and check out our website. It's got a ton of information on there.
Ben, very briefly, being a part of a nonprofit with the Redbirds Foundation, how restrictive is that? Does that pose some issues?
It does. It's not restrictive at all. I mean, we still run our business, and we still run our minor league club in the same fashion that most of the other clubs do. You know, of course, there's some financial and accounting things that need to take place. But other than that, to be honest with you, we're
no major barriers.
Yeah, no handcuffs. So we're good.
We like to end each one of our interviews, find out a little bit more about our guests with 5 for the road. So it's 5 questions, quick answers. Don't have to think about it too thoroughly here. Just maybe first thing comes to mind. Favorite professional team in sports, in all the sports? Don't say the Cardinals.
Well, if I wasn't going to say the Cardinals, I'd say the Philadelphia Phillies.
How about that? Now, where did you grow up?
Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
There we go. So we rooted for the same team. I'm from South Jersey. But
when you said that, I said,
yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Absolutely. All right. Favorite pro athlete of all time?
Of all time, Arnold Palmer.
Really?
Yep. Grew up playing golf, and my dad was a big Arnie fan, and had the chance to meet him at a U.S. Senior Open a few years ago. Well, not a few years ago, maybe 20 years ago now. And
time flies.
Yeah, really. And just what a gentleman.
He's a Pennsylvania guy too. What, Latrobe or somewhere in that area.
Latrobe.
Surprised you didn't go Mike Schmidt, but I understand.
I love Schmitty.
Favorite music, musician, genre? What do you listen to? Driving around in your car, what are you listening to?
Yeah, I love rock music. You know, still one of my all-time favorite bands is Incubus. Kind of grew up in college listening to them.
Look at you.
And, I still love Incubus. I don't even know if they make records anymore, but I still listen to the old stuff.
I don't think.
You know
Maybe they do. Who knows? Favorite movie of all time? You and I both saw a great one the other night.
42. I'm gonna go with that. 42 right there.
Wow, that was a great event you guys put on to have the premiere that we got to see last week. Wow, what a great movie.
My wife and I were talking about it for probably 2 days after that, just what a phenomenal story, and just tremendous production. Need to go see it. It's
the First Lady, Michelle Obama, said everybody should see it. It should be a must-see if you can get a chance to get out there. And finally, we'll wrap it up with your favorite television show of all time.
Of all time. Wow.
Is there something right now when you go home, when you...
You know what? I really like this show called Dual Survivor, I think it's called. It's on Discovery Channel. It's these 2 guys that go out and make themselves lost in the wilderness.
Oh, one of those deals.
I'm into that.
I watch a lot of that reality stuff.
You never know what's going to happen.
I haven't seen that one yet, but I'll make sure I check it out. And folks, you make sure you check out the Redbirds again. 8-game homestand to start the season. Ben Weiss, always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll take a short break, come back with overtime right after this. As many of you know, the University of Memphis men's basketball program has put together one of the nation's top recruiting classes for 2013. 5 top-level players signed scholarships, and if all qualify, Memphis has its version of the Fab Five. But here's a little secret. It's actually a Fab Six. Olive Branch High School product Sam Kraft will also be a part of that class. But priority 1 for Sam is football. Kraft signed with Justin Fuente and the Tigers, but expects to play both sports. As a senior quarterback for the Conquistadors, Kraft threw for nearly 1,800 yards and 14 touchdowns. But he also rushed for nearly 1,000 with 16 scores and caught 4 more touchdowns. At Memphis, he will likely be used as a slot receiver. In hoops, Kraft averaged 23 points and 4 blocks per game with Olive Branch. He is also a star on the track and field team. But 3 sports at Memphis? Not even a great athlete like Sam Kraft will attempt to do that. Scott, you've had a number of talented players walk through the doors here at Olive Branch. Tell me about Sam Kraft.
Sam is probably the most fast-twitch guy I've ever coached. And that may not mean a whole lot to the lay person, but to somebody that's in the business will understand what I'm saying. He's real quick, got real good balance, great eye-hand coordination. And but you know, the most important thing to me about Sam Kraft is the type of person that he is. And you know, Sam Kraft, the athlete, is going to get old and fat just like me one of these days. But Sam Kraft, the person, is going to live for a long time and going to be a solid citizen and a good person to be your neighbor and that sort of stuff. And that's the thing that really matters to me about Sam.
Well, Sam, you just heard Coach describe you. Describe yourself for everyone.
As a person, I just describe myself as being humbled, just thanking God for all the talent that He's given me. I describe myself as a football player where I can make plays for my team. I try to play together, not trying to do everything by myself. So I just try to work hard, get better every day when I go to practice, and just stay humble as a person too.
Sam, you spent 3 years at Craigmont, then transferred to Olive Branch. What was it like to have this year with the Conquistadors?
It was great. Coach Sampson he let me in with open arms. I felt wanted. He helped me become a better football player, also a better person. And my teammates, none of this would be possible without them. They made me look just as good on the field.
Sam, why the University of Memphis?
I'm a Memphis boy. I've been a fan since I was born. My father played in Memphis. Other schools recruited me. They were real good schools, and I thought about going, but I look back on it, and Memphis is the best. It's the best fit for me.
Sam, you played quarterback at Olive Branch. Where do you expect to play at Memphis?
I expect to come to Memphis. Wherever Coach Fuente wants me to make plays, I'll be more than welcome to play there. From quarterback to playing defensive back, to slot receiver, or kick return or punt return. So,
what position are you the most comfortable with?
With the ball in my hands.
So offensively?
Yes, sir.
There are a lot of young men who decide they want to leave the area. They don't want to stay and play at Memphis. You're a Memphis area kid who decided to stay. Do you like the pressure that's going to come with it?
It's pressure, but at the same time, that's what you want as a player. Yeah, you want your family and your friends to be able to come and watch you every home game. That's a lot of love that's going to be showed in the city of Memphis. And some of the players that leave out of the state to go play other places, they get forgotten. And I just want to be remembered. And to change the football program around would be a real good way to be remembered.
So which sport are you better at, football or basketball?
It's crazy because I've had that question asked me for so long now. Mm-hmm. I really can't say because I love both sports dearly, and I just play so hard, so I really can't say which one I'm better at.
So you're also running track at Olive Branch, basketball, football, and track. Are you going to try to play 3 sports at Memphis?
I try to be a star with whatever sport I play.
Sam, is there any doubt you'll play both sports at Memphis?
There's no doubt. My freshman year, I'm going to play both sports, and if it doesn't work out as I want it to be, I would just stick to football.
And football is where you have your scholarship.
Yes, sir.
What do you know about your college coach, Justin Fuente?
Coach Fuente, he's a great guy. He asked me, do I want to come to Memphis, and I told him, yes, sir. So I think he's changed his program around in 1 year, like very fast. And I think in a couple more years, it'll be one of the top football schools in the country.
Sam, what is the one thing you'll take away from playing for Coach Sampson here at Olive Branch?
Just being dedicated in the classroom. I've came a long way in doing my schoolwork, and with Coach Sampson, he know I can play ball, but he was always on me about make sure I have my classwork done. So.
Well, Sam, best of luck in Memphis. We're looking forward to watching you play there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Scott, always a pleasure.
Thank you.
And as we say goodnight, we do so with heavy hearts after the news of the recent passing of former Memphis Tigers hoop star Bobby Parks. Parks died of cancer at the age of 51 in his home away from home, the Philippines. Parks was the consummate hard worker who made his teammates and thus his team better. He was part of the recruiting class of 1980 and helped the Tigers to 3 straight Sweet 16 appearances in the NCAA tournament. He is the school's 19th all-time leading scorer. His pro career took him to the Philippines, where he became a legendary figure both on and off the court. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the friends and family of Bobby and the entire Tiger Nation. And that will do it for this week. Remember, you can see any of our previous shows by heading to our website at WKNO.org and clicking on KNO Tonight. And we'll see you next time.